Welcome to the Boat Babe podcast with your favorite boat babe here, MaryAllison. Here we talk boats, DIY projects, and manifestation tips to living your best vacay life on the water. If anything's going to happen, y'all know it. It's going to happen out there. So let's go explore together. I am so happy that you're here listening to me just talk about boat stuff all day. If you're listening to this podcast, yes, it's episode number 1. You know what? I have launched this a couple times and it just hasn't sat right. And so I was driving down the road. I just left Barber down here in Alberta, Alabama. My boat's hauled out there. She's been hauled out there for way too long. And I said, I'm just going to freaking do it. I love talking about boats. I love listening to people talk about boats. I love boats. It's all I want to do. You know, I was listening to Steve Harvey, you know, how he's got those viral Instagram and TikToks. And he interviewed somebody and he said, this kid was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And you're really good at it. Do that. And that has just stuck with me for months because I'm one of those chicks that does everything. I raise the babies. I maintain the house. I maintain the flip house. I maintain the boat. I take care of the other boats. I'm a psychic. I love giving intuitive tarot readings. I'm also a life coach. I'm also sober and love my sober community. I love exploring. I love traveling. I love helping people. Like there's just, you know, when you dabble into too many things and you're like a little overwhelmed. I love creating businesses. I have had some awesome businesses. Then I just kind of just like forgot about them because I get over it for a while. Obviously, they're not paying the bills enough for me to actually continue doing stuff. And then I get super distracted with something else. And I realized, though, the one thing that has always been consistent since I was little is boats. You know, I've been a captain for 15 years. I've had my U.S. Coast Guard 100-ton license since I was 23. That didn't sound right. I feel like I'm going to have to look. I think I'm renewing it this year. I know this year is year 15. I'm 38. I guess I was 21 or 22. And of course, this entire time, I didn't even know I could have had my 200-ton this whole time. I'm like, what the heck? So 15-year 100-ton. Lame, I know. My goal is my 500-ton, but that might have to come later. So anyway, all I want to do is boat stuff. So if all you want to do is boat stuff, then you and I get to have like the best conversations ever. Well, I'm leaving Barber. I'm driving down the road. We've had the boat hauled out since it was 100 degrees, and now it's 46. So it's obviously been a couple months. The whole plan was not to have it hauled out this long, especially because Barber just upped their price from like $40 a day to $61 a day. But I kind of try to turn that around in my head and say, okay, I'm just paying somebody $61 a day to do this shit. That person is just me. But then I actually am going to pay Barber. So if that makes any sense. I try to justify. And usually I know, you know, since I'm sober, I'm like, if you justify it, you're wrong. But this justification seems to work out. So let's just talk about this whole hauling out experience. If you ever hauled out your boat, do you ever feel like you get freaking stuck in the yard and you're like, damn it, why am I freaking still here? I'm fascinated with boats who haul out and actually go back in the water on the date they say they're going to go back in the water. Like I watch people do it, but I'm just not that person. I didn't let anybody know that I'm not that person, and I don't think I consciously knew that I'm not that person, but that is not me. If I haul my boat out and I say I'm going to put it back in a week, it's a total lie. It's not true. I will be in that yard for months because I find shit to do and I love it. I wear myself out. I literally ended up in the ER from exhaustion and a heart problem because I decided to paint my entire boat myself. And what I mean is not like, let's just roll it. Just a couple sanding days and rolling. No, fuck that. I freaking hauled out, sanded the bottom. Thank God I had the help from my husband during this point. Well, first of all, we hauled out. Let me back up. We hauled out because my diver convinced me that I needed to haul out. Don't ever let your diver convince you that you need to haul out, because what I've learned is if you have a diver, let's say they even take the pictures and they send you the emails and, you know, here's your through hauls and blah, blah, blah. It's freaking fake. Like, I don't know how they do it. But the guy was like, you have no bottom paint. You've got absolutely no bottom paint. Well, then the next month comes. Yep, you still don't have any bottom paint. And then the next month. Nope, no bottom paint. And I'm like, are you serious? How the heck do I not have bottom paint? Like, I just painted it. And he's like, you just don't. You just don't have bottom paint. Like, no bottom paint. Barrier coat's even going now. Like, no barrier coat. And I'm like, fine. I'll haul out. I'll leave the paradise of the end of summer, the pretty sunsets, where the tide gets really low. The sun starts to shift across the sky to the most magnificent sunsets. I'll just leave all that, and I'll go haul out at Barber, and I'll just go frickin' do the bottom. So I get there, and I call my dad, and it's a clusterfuck. You know, it's always like, when you have that haul out day, you're like, oh my gosh, it's, you know, like, it's just like a light breeze. It's just a light breeze out of the west. It's going to be a perfect day. Okay, so then you call Barbara and you're like, hey, I'm like at the entrance. It's now blowing 40. It's coming from my stern. By the way, I have no reverse. Are you ready for me? And they're like, yep. No. You need to wait. Just wait. You're going to wait for that sport fish behind you, motherfucker. Fine. So I've done this twice. I have literally put my boat, which is like driving a school bus on two wheels with no brakes, into that freaking small ass lift at Barber. It's too small, twice, in over 3 knot winds. It drives me nuts. I don't know how the wind gods plan this joke on me every time. They know my boat is the hardest boat I've ever driven of every boat in my life. It's freaking hard. But anyway, so I haul out and I call Dad after it being a mess in the lift because the lift is too small. But thank God, supposedly they're ordering a new one. I don't know how you just put an order in for a 125-ton lift, but I guess they just did. So I call Dad and I'm like, will you just come out here and take a look at my bottom job on my boat? And he was like, yeah. So he comes out and he's like, why are you hauled out? Your boat looks fine. And I'm just like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, it's fine. The freaking diver wanted an easier job. You know how easy it is to clean a bottom job that's brand new versus cleaning a bottom job that's 3 years old? Yeah, that's what happened. So $500 later, I'm in the slings at Barber, and I'm like, you know what? Just chalk it. Fine. I'm paying you either way, so you might as well just put it on the chalks. And so I get on the chalks, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to save some dollars. I'm going to just pressure wash it myself. Well, we get that done, which is freaking harder than you think. If you have ever hauled your boat out, and you wonder why they charge $350 for the yard workers to pressure wash the bottom of your boat, it's freaking worth it. It's because it takes hours. It is so hard to get that marine growth off there. Where we are is like really brackish water. So it just creates this film on the bottom of your boat that just does not come off. And we do get, I mean, I didn't have any clams. I didn't have any buildup really, but like, it just, if you leave that marine life growth on there for, just a couple hours, it turns into cement. You can't get it off. So I decided, I'm just going to save some dollars, do it ourselves. It's fine. It's chalked. We're going to start sanding. We're literally dying, thinking we're just going to get this done in 4 days. Well, we get the sanding done, and I look up and I'm like, oh, shoot. I haven't had a paint job since 2003. Let me look at this. Okay, all grip paint jobs, 2003. It's 2023/24. It's 20-year-old paint job. I've already buffed it and waxed it. You're not supposed to buff and wax all grip. You can buff and wax all craft 2000, but all craft 2000 obviously wasn't created at that time. And what all grip does is it creates its own shine and film protection after it's cured on your hull, is from what I've been told and what I've learned. So you really can't buff and wax it. It's already perfect. If it screws up, it screws up. So I tried to Band-Aid it 3 years ago when I did my bottom job by waxing it, and it looked fine. It was fine. But now it's to the point of no return. So I look up and I'm like, I think I'm going to paint the bottom. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm going to sand it and roll some paint on it. No. This girl goes on YouTube when she's got COVID and flu B at the same time with the entire family and learns how to sand 545 prime, all craft 2000, spray the hull. I've never done this before in my life. Just because I've worked on boats for over 20 years does not mean I know how to paint an entire boat like professional paint job finish. And so that project was just tackled. I learned how to do it. I about killed myself, like I said, ended up in the ER with a heart problem. But hey, I kept getting shit from my dad. Dad's like, I don't understand why you don't just buy a new boat. Your boat's old. You just need to get a new one. I want to take your mother sailing, is what I hear all the time. Mind you, he has a 2007 Viking that is pristine and looks brand new with twin MTUs that are giant. And he's telling me I need a new boat. He's not wrong, but prove him wrong. So I secretly decided I'm going to match his paint job and he's not going to give me shit. And I just thought it was really cute because I've always been such a daddy's girl that we have to have matching boats. Duh. So Eagle can be sitting next to Rhiannon and we're all matchy-matchy and we've got matching sea hunts. So cute. So that's what I did. I ended up painting the hull, all craft 2000, ice blue with a royal blue boot stripe. I removed so my boat's an Endeavor. I don't even know if I said that. I'm the owner of a 1983 43-foot Endeavor Ketch. She is incredible. She's been maintained and loved by her owners. When I bought the boat, the owners that I bought her from cried. They were just so sad to see her go, but so happy at the same time, tears of joy kind of thing. They just got older. They were going to do the RV life. They had grandkids and stuff. They were from Canada. And side note, did you know that in Canada, you actually can't leave the country for more than a certain amount of days a year? Who in their right mind? What? So they actually, fast forward, I bought the boat. I had called them. I was like, can you please just stay one more day? Extend your day. I have literally am by myself with my 2 kids. I have a 7-month-old and a 2-year-old. I bought this boat in Green Cove Springs, never been there before. I was like, can you please help me? And they were like, no, we'll both get fined $600 if we are late getting back into Canada. And I'm like, what is up with people actually we love Canada. Canada's great. Everybody from Canada's nice. I'm like, no, number one, I like talking on my phone driving down the road. I like being able to live outside of the country for as long as I want. Like, no, no, that's crazy. So anyway, then I was going through my boat, all the paperwork and stuff, and I realized I found the owner who had had her for most of her life, over 20, almost 30 years. And I called him. I found him on the white pages. I left him a message on his answering machine. His wife called me back. They're both crying, mind you, because the owner of their boat called them. They literally were like, we wanted to buy that boat back, but we're almost 90. I was like, I made the best decision ever. This boat literally found me. Like, we are soulmates. We go way back. So I devote my life to this boat. And I want it to show. So the paint job. I'm going to have to do another episode about the paint job. I want to talk about it. I want to tell you how I screwed up. I want to tell you how I didn't screw up. I want to tell you what it feels like to work in a yard as a female with dozens of good old boys with their big ass Chevys and their big sport fish and how it feels. I want to tell you about what I've learned trying to do this project on my own and why I've done it on my own. So that's going to come probably in the next episode. As for today, I'm going to cut it a little short. I'm going to make dinner for the kids. I am going to take it easy. I am going to do the neti pot and get all the varnish fumes out of my sinuses. And I want to tell you that I'm so glad that you're here with me, because this sailing and boating community, you literally can't find a community of better people. Like, we are always here to help each other. Something about this community is just like home to me, and I hope it's home to you. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am on Instagram, but I haven't nailed down my name yet. As of right now, I think it's Boat Babe Podcast, but it might be Boat Babe DIY. I would love for you to follow me. I do a lot of stories all the time. Like, I live in my stories because it's just easy. It's fun to update, like, you know, boat projects that I'm doing and all that stuff. But subscribe to this channel, follow this channel, whatever they call it now. Share it with your friends. I hope that I just take up some of your, you know, fun car ride time talking about boats. I would love to hear your input. Give me a 5-star rating. If you please, you know, if you feel like it. But I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day, and I can't wait to catch up with you soon. Thank you for listening to the Boat Babe Podcast. I am MaryAllison. I love you so much. Bye.